Okay, we're going to set up the project again this time. So this is my OmegaT window, and the project we've got to do is this one here, number 3, task 3 we could call it. It's offline with full page download as in the method described in the OmegaT for Beginners Guide. Now the OmegaT for Beginners Guide is in the online classroom. Here it is, it's a PDF document, so you need to download that, and here I've downloaded it. And if you look in this document, this is the OmegaT's own tutorial about using the software. Then project 2, an HTML document, describes the method that we're going to use here. So go down to that page, which is page 12 in the numbering. There it is, and this is an HTML document here, but we're not going to be using the pages they suggest. The pages they suggest are not appropriate for us because we're all translating our own pages. But the method for saving the document is as they suggest. It's here, this section here. It says you have to save it as a complete web page. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I'll show you how to do that now. You go to Trading, and here we're going to go to the web page, the initial web page. So that's, I'm going to search for 20167, and my original web page is not sorry, I have to search for that, not go to it. Search, and I should find, here we are, this is the page that I want. This is the original page, and now I need to save that in the complete web page format. But before I save it, I'm going to create the project. It will be easier this way round. So here in OmegaT, I say I want a new project, and I'm going to create this new project in the desktop in my project folder there, and I'm going to call it T3, which is the task or project number that I'm on at the moment. So call that OK. And what happens then is that OmegaT creates a project folder structure, and that's quite a big dialogue, but I'll try and show it to you. It's this one here, and you need to check that you have the right source files, that's English, and the right translated files, that's Spanish in my case. I'm going to leave the options for segmenting, and then the other information at the bottom tells you the file locations, and here we've got some files that are used in the folders that are used in the project. So this is a bit of project management really here. We can look at that a little bit later once it's created. So now we say OK, and that creates the project, and it tries to import it, but there's nothing to import because it's an empty, basically it's empty. The folders are empty at the moment. So what I'm going to do is close that, but then if we go to the project here, T3, you can see the structure that's been created, and the structure here, this is the project details with the language combination, for example, and the source files are going to go here, the target files are going to go in target, then TM is translation memory, OmegaT is internal files of OmegaT, glossary is the terms, and the dictionary is a spell dictionary. I'm not sure about the dictionary folder actually, if it's used or not. So, but these are the source and target, and the glossary certainly we're going to be using. Right now we want to save the web page that we're going to translate into the source folder. So I'm going to go to the web page here and say save page as, and then I'm going to make this dialog a little bit smaller so we can see it. And I'm going to save this into desktop here, T3, into the source, and web page complete, and save. And now if I go to OmegaT and I reload the project, which I can do here for example, then this time it finds the segments. You can see 220 segments found, and if I close that dialog, then the translation is loaded up here into the editing window. This is the basic editing window of OmegaT, and because I've used the coloured marking, the untranslated segments are in blue. Now, one thing that's quite good for you to do here, which is what you do at the end of a translation in OmegaT, is to create the translated documents immediately. Before we do that, if you look here in T3, the target folder is empty because we haven't created any translated documents yet. But if you go to the project menu and create translated documents, then if you look in the target folder, it creates the translation. And now if we go to the our browser and we open another tab and we open the file in the target folder, just let me resize that dialog. If we open the file in the target folder, that's that one, the HTML file, then we can see it's exactly the same as the source file. But now, as we start translating, we'll see how that changes. So you don't need to start translate right from the start, because that's the menus and things like that. But you need to start translating where the text begins, which is really here. So this is the first unit, and to translate a segment, you double-click on it to open a translation pair. And here, if we look in the options, I've got the editing behavior. I've got that I copy the source text into the target segment. That's why I'm getting the English here. Otherwise, that would be empty. You can choose how you want to work. This is quite a comfortable way to work because we get all the tags here and the proper names. So this is nacida el 31 de marzo de es una cantante de música pop y folk en lengua galesa. So that's all correct now, but the only problem is I'm missing some of the tags, and you have to have the tags. So if you look here, those tags are alright because I just left it because that's a proper name and exactly the same. But these ones with Welsh language, I haven't got them. So I need to pick that up and put it around lengua galesa. So I'm doing Control X, Control V here. And I also need to do the same with the folk. So I've got a spelling mistake there, but I can cut the whole segment there, the whole section, and put it in there. Now that's right, and I don't need the last bit in English anymore, so I'll delete that. And I can't, this is protected, the segment marker. And now if you look at that segment, that's done. Es una cantante de música pop y folk en lengua galesa. And intro to confirm the translation and move on. Now if I create the translated documents now again, and I go back to the translated document, folder, which is there, target, and I update it. If you look at the first sentence here, you'll see it's in Spanish, and that's really useful because it means that you can follow the translation in a very visual environment. The problem in OmegaT is that this isn't very visual, and it's very easy to make small mistakes. For example, it's easy to leave out this space here between en y lengua galesa. If we did that and we created the translated documents, then if we update this view here, you can see how it's much easier to see the space that's missing in the browser view than it is in the OmegaT view. So that's just a little tip there. I'm going to put that back. And that's how you can translate in OmegaT. Just one last thing I should say. If you get the, you must get the number of tags right. So you can't leave tags out. So for example, if I didn't have that tag, for example, then if there is an option here which is validate tags, and if you validate the tags, it'll tell you if you've got a tag missing, and you can see it's telling me that there is a problem in this segment 31, and the problem is, of course, that I don't have the tag that I should have, because I've just removed it. It's the tag after lingua galesa. So if I confirmed that, that would be a mistake. Let's check that again, validate tags, and you can see that the tag isn't there. Once I confirmed it, it's not there, and that would be a mistake. And you can find the segment quite easily because they're numbered here. So I need to put that back. So that's a good quick check for you about tags. And if I look now with the validate tags, it should tell me that they're all correct. It's telling me entries with modified tags. That's correct, but those tags are correct. And so that's how you can work with OmegaT. And in the next video I'll show you some of the extra tools, computer assisted translation tools that OmegaT gives us: glossary, memory and dictionary.